Yeah. Right. Whilst Martin is finishing his arrangements, I'd like to welcome you to the FCCT. My name is Dominic Fulder. I'm a board member and past president on various occasions. As usual, give you a quick rundown of things that are coming up in the club. Tomorrow at lunchtime, we have a rather interesting presentation by Ron Graham of his book on the informal imperialist, which was about the opening up of Upper Burma in the 19th century. And he was a British Army surgeon, so that's for anybody interested in Burma, that's quite something. Tomorrow evening, we have a much more informal gathering for wine tasting. There are still places available if you want to join that, and very good value. On the Friday the 29th, that's the day after tomorrow, we have the former Foreign Minister of Singapore, George Yeo, giving a lunchtime talk, and he's just written a book about ASEAN. So if you're following regional politics, he's certainly on the inside track of that. Next Tuesday we have board games as usual. And then on Wednesday next week, the 4th, we have the Resistance Diaries, an exhibition of artwork by the Kite Tales. The Kite Tales are all about contemporary Myanmar and the resistance to the military there, and we'll have in the office, here to talk, Tin Lei Win, who is, I've just got to check it. Tin Lei Win, anyway, she'll be in the clubhouse with other people who cannot be identified in public because that's the sort of situation they're describing. And then finally, on Monday, the 9th of September, we'll have Surin Patanotai, who is a remarkable Thai lady who was sent to China in the late 50s by her father, and was witness to the Cultural Revolution and everything that went on there, and was a kind of ward of Chou En-lai, the premier. And amazingly, she survived that, and she played a role in normalization of relations between China and Thailand in the 1970s. It's a really remarkable story, and so I highly recommend that if you've got the time. That will be lunchtime, Monday the 9th of December. And with that, Martin, if I could get Martin to pay attention. So the serious issue of Siamese cats and Burmese cats in Thailand. We thought we'd get away from the usual boring dross about politics and what have you. Martin is obsessed with cats. I think I've known you for 25 years?
Yeah.
Plus?
I've been working on it for a while.
And this is his, I don't think anybody has studied cats in the depth that he has, and he's been to all the temples and looked at the murals and read the manuscripts, and he's produced a book. When was the book first out? 20 years?
The first edition was in 1998.
It's a long time ago, so he's actually working on updating it and producing something new. And it's when you think about the millions of people around the world that own Siamese cats, it's just unbelievable. So it's a kind of unserved market. And Martin is a fluent Thai speaker like you've never met, and is also one of the foremost translators from Thai to English in the country, a profession that is in jeopardy these days, what with AI.
Pretty well.
But anyway, I would offer you encouragement, Martin. Persist with the translations. I played around yesterday with Chat GPT-4 for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was complete rubbish. There was absolutely not a single fact that was correct. So it was immensely reassuring, and I hope you make some money out of it going forward. Anyway, with that, Martin is going to give a PowerPoint, run us through it, and then we'll have as long and as languid a Q&A session as you wish. Martin.
Okay, thanks very much, Dominic. Thanks everybody for coming. Yeah. Oh, it's been a long time, so.
Is it working?
All right. You said you can point it there. All right.
Wait. Just wait.
Oh.
We know you're there, so there's no point hiding.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a problem. Can you check it?
There you go. So
That's good. All right.
So it goes back from that way. So basically, yeah. Here we go. Forward, backward. Yeah. That goes forward. Does that go backward? Right. Okay. Gotcha. So that's forward. Okay.
Stay on the mic.
So
on the mic.
Right. So basically, we're looking at. I want to tell a bit of a personal story, something that carries on from the work that I've already done. That's in the book here on sale today, and just talk a bit about the book, which some of you have already bought here. This thing on the left, that's an exhibition at the National Library in Samsen last year about cats. You know, they having an awareness of the worth of these manuscripts in their collection. And this one on the right is probably the oldest one they have. Yeah, they had it out in the exhibition. It looked really nice. But what I say on here, you know, in hindsight, my opinion is the National Library manuscripts represent the best of the secular tradition of these poems. They're you know, written in the Thai script rather than Thai Kon. You know, and this one and some others we'll look at a bit later, written by lay people, not monks or anything like that. So this is like a secular tradition here, and that's basically all of the manuscripts which were in the National Library, which are still in the National Library, which are the subject of the book, which is I'm selling here. Siamese Cats, Legends and Reality. And it's like when I started, I was a very naive cat person. I'm a kind of a general cat person. I generally prefer cats to dogs. You know, we have had dogs, but yeah, cats are better. I don't know what you guys think. All right, okay. So these two are cats I've owned in the past. You know, quite a few dozens of cats I've owned in the past. One on the left is Karat, you know. The one on the right is a Wichian mat or Siamese. Yeah. There he is again. You see the tapetum lucidum, you know, the cat's eye that gathers so much light. And then here, well, this is where, coming on after this book, quite a while after, in 2011, I was contacted by Adam Neely, a producer for the Discovery Channel. And he wanted to make a segment for Cats 101 on Thai cats, and I was quite lucky to help him quite a lot. I hooked him up with Kunjujai. We had a rain ceremony. We Bricha in Ampawar, and as you can see here, Dr. Somgyet Onwimon. I don't know how many of you guys remember him, but he made documentaries and stuff back in the day. He was a senator and so on, and his garden turned out to be a really good interview set. But among all the interesting things I did on that, the most interesting by a long way was when I was looking again at the cats in temples. So I went to this temple. This temple is Wat Tong Nopakun. It's in Klong San, on the other side of the river. And it's famous, actually, quite famous in books past for having a mural. Yeah. And when I wanted to ask permission for the film crew to do the mural, I mean, you have to approach the abbot, the abbot sits on his throne and you have to get on all fours and ask him very nicely. But this abbot, in contrast to previous ones I knew, was very helpful. And this is the mural, just for your information. You can see it's the whole of the back wall there. You can see here the scriptures and the two cats there. This temple is a Rama III period temple, and here we have close-ups of the cats, and they're really quite realistic. They have the correct eye color for their coat color. The black and white cats have got yellow eyes. The white cat has blue eyes. That's right. It's genetically correct. And those two pictures are cats we will see, which I found at Wat Tong, that have the more or less the same pattern. And I worked it out, just did the mathematics, the about 200 generations separating those cats there, if that artist was drawing from a real cat. So quite an amazing thing. But this was the thing was, he said, go to Kanat Bet, and they're like a sort of a separate cloister with one Jau Kanat, which is like the sort of presiding monk of the cloister, and because he had a lot of cats, and I said, all right. And I sort of knocked on the door, he let me in. Abbot said I could come, and this is what met my eye, this kind of primordial cat paradise. So, cats in trees, cats walking around, and there were just like dozens and dozens of them. And lots of them, as you can see here, were Wichinmat, were Siamese, were Supalak Burmese, were, very Thai. And here's some more. This is one of the temple helpers there, Kungai, with a little kitten. We'll talk about how the cats were looked after at this temple. There's another Siamese. But eventually, after a couple of visits, literally, this is about the third visit, I got to meet the Jaukana, Lungpu, so Prakru Wibunyanakit. He died in 2014. But I just went to this temple many, many times to study his cats, because they were so interesting. And he himself, as we will see, has a connection to the manuscripts, which I didn't anticipate. So here we go. So basically, he started out with just one female cat, and so they come to it's like a cloister. It's like got a gate on it. It's a safe place. They safe from predation, and that's obviously he's had them all of his life, over 90 years. Yeah, but I just really was just struck by how he was breeding his cats, and as we see that genetics works in populations rather than pedigrees. So we're talking about populations here rather than like a cat breeder would have pairs of cats, and trace the pedigree. We've got all right, cat looks all right, and we'll establish populations. So and what I'm saying here is that the quiet atmosphere of the temple. It was like finally I'd found my master. The temple, that I would just like to go there because it was nice and quiet, and I'd just think about Buddhism, not necessarily just the cats. It was really nice, typical Thai neighborhood temple, but with these very special cats. Now, you can see here a typical litter. It would have the Wichem Mart, which is a very pale one, and sort of mixed up with a sort of darker color. Sometimes the poem would call this Supalak, or a kind of a midway period, a midway color between sort of pale fawn color and the very dark brown color of the Burmese. And just a bit about the method here, that the senior monk keeps the kittens when they're born, newborn kittens, in his own private quarter, and once they're sort of old enough to run up a curtain, they're let outside. They have to tough it out with all the other cats, like these. So this particular photo, they did use it as on the website of the FCCT about this talk, but it really does show, you look at, here's a population, here's not a breeding pair, and you can see that there's this spectrum from very dark to very light, but they're all pointed, and just so beautiful. I don't know, would you agree with me that they just look lovely? Here's some more of them. You can see I've kind of gone looking for the sort of more brown ones here. That girl on the right, she's obviously heavily pregnant. We want to get your breeding population. You've got in the bottom right hand corner again, often littermates, the mink type. They're halfway between Siamese and Burmese. They'd be littermates with and then on the far left-hand side, looks black, but actually very dark brown. It's pointed, And those two little kittens, well, they're just gorgeous, aren't they? Yeah, just typical of the what was going on there. Yet more of the gallery here, because this on the bottom right. That's when I've been going to the temple quite a few times. They knew me by then, and they're sort of acting out there. Like give me some food, or protesting about this or that. Yeah, and again the littermates on the left-hand side there, at the top. Newborn kittens. So such an important cat population. Probably, at that time when I was going there, it was about 50 or 60 cats at least, just in one little kanat, one little sort of monk's cloister. Home to about 10 monks or so, with the Jalkana. And here we go again. Kungai, our temple helper, who would feed them, had the task of feeding them, and it was like saying a safe place for them. That wall, that was significant. You've got these. We'll talk about it a bit more later, that Thai cats do have natural predators, dogs and snakes, pythons in particular. Be careful. I'll mention it later on. If you have a cat and you're in an area known to have pythons, just be very careful, because your python will eat your cat. It'll happen. But again, beautiful Wichem Mart cats. As the way they were supposed to be raised, as they were like in the poems, according to the poems. And we will get on a bit later about the link with the poems. So this one in particular, beautiful dark brown colour, Burmese. Can't see the points, but they are there, obviously, because we're looking at the population in general. However, there are have been studies, done the genetic code of an all-brown cat that's not a Burmese, it's not a pointed cat, it's a gene called the chocolate gene. So, that just shows you there's so much variety. And we will look a bit more at some of the very more rare colours. Okay, moving on. White spotting. So these are the, most of the cats in the poems. We've got 17 good cats, 6 bad cats. Of the 17 good ones, at least 15 of them or something are these, some variation on a white spotting pattern. And so here we go. So these are the guys, which this population where I took the photo to compare with the mural. And it's, again, how you breed a cat if you're not going to have cages and you're not going to, you're not recording pedigrees. You're looking at this girl on the bottom left-hand corner here. She's, a pregnant queen. And again, the cloister is a very safe place, and we'll talk about it later. I'm sure all of you who have cats, you understand that cats like safety. That's why cats like boxes. That's why cats like getting into nooks and crannies. They like to be high up. They like to feel safe. And so, Lumpu has gone and created an atmosphere that will really suit them, that will attract them. And that's the same cat, left and right, pre and postpartum, she's delivered her little bundles of joy. There they are on the top there, 2 of them. And that's kind of how they used to do it back in the day. And it's just really interesting to me. Because, here are some more of them, more of the black and white guys. You've got sometimes the tuxedo cat, or you've got all 4 paws are white, like this, the jatubot. You've got mittens, I think they call that in the Western cat fancy. So plenty of those. So already, tons of cats that were in the poems, that were lucky, that were special. There. Moving on. Okay. Right. Not moving on. Oh, am I pressing the wrong button? I am. So here we have ordinary cats. And this is the first sort of fun question of the evening. Can anybody tell me how can you tell these are Thai cats? What is it when you look at these 2 Thai cats? What is it about them that they are Thai cats? Can anybody tell me? Who said that? Tail. Yeah, right. Well, that's the win. And you win. You win this Siamese cat jigsaw. Here you go. You can collect that later. All right, the tail. Yeah. So you can see the left-hand cat has a little kink at the end of the tail, and the right-hand cat. It's quite hard to see the tail, but it's quite short, even docked tail, almost a Manx cat. Yeah. But these are just ordinary cat colours that are prevalent everywhere in all over the world. The tabby, the most common colour of cat anywhere, probably, obviously it's descending from a wild cat. And a little tidbit there about the tortoise shell that we know these days, why males are orange, like we would call a marmalade cat, and why the girls are tortoiseshell, because of a phenomenon called X inactivation. When the cells, literally, of the skin do inactivate a different X chromosome in bands, and that's what creates the colour. Yeah. So, and in fact, humans, you can observe this. I think if certain people, you can, with an ultraviolet light, see this kind of same pattern in all kinds of different animals. All right, so here we go. I was working for Tesco at this point, 2013. I was a lot fatter than I am now. And it's the one good thing I did when I was at Tesco. Was able to, put the screws on these cat food manufacturers to donate to Lumpur. And I thought, 100 grand of cat food, that's probably enough, until for the rest of Lumpur being around. That was great. The chap there from Jerome Pokpan, so that's PCG, Perfect Companion. That's the CP's cat food manufacturer. They also make the Tesco brand of cat food as well. But really nice Friskies and Whiskers. And Mio, you can see there that they do use a Siamese cat on their packaging. They still do. Yeah, and that was really nice. I was very pleased, as I say, to put my time at Tesco to good use at least once. Right then. So yeah, a bit more gallery here from Wat Tong. Again, the littermates. Yeah, this one's a bit darker, with the witchy and mat. And there you go, again at the bottom there. How cats stare at you like that. Yeah. There you go, just a bit more random, more of them together. You can see exactly how many there were. Yeah, and there you go, feeding time. Yeah, so you got an idea of the atmosphere, how many the cats that were there. It was I felt I was very fortunate, and it was like when I told other sort of cat fanciers about this particular population, I thought it was a bit special, and there was a lot of interest. A lot of people came to have a look, and get cats actually. Even Lumpur wasn't keen on giving cats away, but he did give a couple of kittens away in that time. And then here we have Campbell. She's in Arizona right now, I understand. But they raised a lot of money for Lumpur himself, which I thought was really nice. Particularly Doug Shah. I just want to mention these kind of people. He bought a whole orthopedic bed, which was fantastic. But unfortunately, at this time he was like 92, and then at the age of 93, he passed away. And it was a bit of a special funeral as well. Is, as we will see, the first Thai printing of the Thai poem, the cat poems, was at a monk's funeral. They made this really lovely one for Lumpur, and they gave away some of these, miniature Samut Thai. Yeah. And you can just see that, and again, but this is the most interesting thing of all. We'll get there in a second. So here we, kind of at the end, when we were the cat breeders came to clear out, because the monks at that time, I think the cats are still there, just not as many as before. They didn't get rid of all of them. Cats are notoriously hard to catch if they don't want you to catch them. They will, hide up trees and hide on the roof, and so on and so on. And I got some myself at that event. But the thing was that this is the connection. That okay, he was 90 years old then, and so therefore he knew the abbot. So this map here, at the top left, Wat Po, we'll be talking about that in a minute. Bottom right is Wat Tong Napakun, where the mural is, and Lumpur. But the arrow in the middle, Wat Anong Karam. This temple was the first to print the cat poems, when we say goodbye to Samut Thai. This is a really late Samut Thai, and say hello to letterpress, engraved letterpress, and this book's kind of quite famous. I think a lot of you may have seen this already, but this is what blew my mind. This Somdet Praputajan, the monk on the right there, when this book was published, our Luang Pu was 30 years old. They knew each other personally, and in terms of, this is Luang Pu reading from the book, from a guy who had the book. We have all this evidence, yeah. That's why I decided that it's worth giving another talk, if you like, on top of what I've already written. Because we're just getting all this really strong, very strong evidence. Again, you look at this, the engraving, very nice, beautiful book, this one. And this is kind of like, as we will see, this is like the classic, what became the standard cat poem. The one that's been reprinted and reprinted over and over again in many different kind of Thai books. Well, I'm saying, here we go. Again, apologies for the very blurry photos. When I was there, I took the photo of his photos and they were blurred, But just so you can see, all through his life in the monkhood, he had a cat, a Siamese cat, yeah? You've got this solid personal connection. And then, so we're moving on to what we would call new information that wasn't available to me when I was, studying at the National Library. And there was this important manuscript. It was held in Wat Pawan. It was in the library of Wat Pawan Niue, and they, for what good reason, decided to publish it as a book. And I have got it here with me tonight. So they have actually, this is actually out of print now. I think I was lucky to get one of the last couple of copies. But this manuscript is really important in the sense that we can see here, we have metadata about the author and the provenance. Okay, we have a real clear picture of what the Ayutthaya period manuscript looked like. Settle the question definitively whether the Wichia Mat, the Siamese kind of cat, was special to the Thai people of Ayutthaya, and the answer is, well, yeah. I mean, absolutely. And we look here at the textual evidence. Here we go, all those squiggles there. They're called Thai Kom, so kind of Cambodian letters, but Thai. And this is our author. He gives us a date, 1838, early Ratanakosin. But it's this introduction, which is very compelling. You just read the bit that's in yellow. This treatise on cats appeared in the great city of Ayutthaya, which they wrote in the Thai language, creating it in the marvelous city. I mean, can't get more unequivocal than that, can you? I come in the robes of an ordinand, passing the rains retreat of Wat Pawan, and I write this treatise, giving the text its due honour. So again, it had prestige. It was important. He translated Thai back into Makata, as they'd say, Magadha, or Pali, a Prakrit, if you're a linguistic nerd. So to be fluent in composing the chant. Just to explain that slightly, just about all meters of Thai poetry are written to be sung, actually. Each meter has its distinctive kind of melody and stuff like this, So that's, again, got the idea that he's working off a manuscript that had burn marks on it or something. They grabbed it from the fire of 1767. So we look at the actual manuscript itself. It's one of these old ones. It's using these more prose-like meters of the poetry. The order is a bit, it's kind of similar to the manuscript we have today, but kind of not really. But the same kind of cats, black and white cats, and particularly this third one, even though it's got black on its tummy, it's kind of like a Witchy and Mart, isn't it? Yeah. And then the contrast with the Gaudem, which is supposed to be the white one with black spots, which is a completely different genetic phenomenon. A clear contrast here. And then here, this one, you can see it again. They drew it again. Another Witchy and Mart, and this one looks really a lot like a Witchy and Mart. So it was like, was Siamese Cat special to the people of Ayutthaya? Yeah, it was, The evidence is very clear. And here we have a view of the actual manuscript itself on display at Wat Bhawan. As I say, weekends they have a little museum. They have a museum there at the back. You can go there. It's open at weekends. I don't know if this exhibition is still here. But this is really interesting. They found at the same time another manuscript at Wat Bak Nam, all right, down in Samut Prakan. And it's like, you can see it's kind of identical. One's a copy of the other, yeah? And you can tell which one's the master and the copy. The one on the left is Wat Bhawan, and the one on the right, just one of those coincidences. My dad makes paper for a living. He would call the one on the right. He would say pore formation, yeah, that the pulp isn't properly properly formed onto the sheet, so it's got all these marks on it. Compared to the one on the left, the quality of the paper is a lot higher. But you can see how, if you had a popular manuscript back in the day, it would be, copied exactly from one to another, like this, it's like, before printing came to Thailand. So here we go. And then we also want to mention that the classic text that we were talking about, what we call, you see in my book here, we talk about the Klong Si Supap. This is also in this book, that they combined it with a book about doves. Yeah, you can see some doves there. So sometimes one at the library combining cats and dogs. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll get to that in a minute. But basically, it's interesting that this is what the manuscript would look like. That's why I was showing you it earlier. It was the late stage of the manuscript before it was committed to print. This is a really high quality one. Obviously, again, from like the older one, from the library of Wat Bhawan. It's got these canonical elements. You have a dedication, you have 17 good cats, you have 6 bad cats, you have the alternating Klong and Gapcha Bang Sip Hop meters, like this. And it says, Grom Praya Barawe Waria Long Gone. Well, did he compose it? Did he copy it, or did he just own it? Could be any of those things. From my best guess, it's a copy, and it's a lot later than that other very early one. And the craft of the painting of the cats themselves is much nicer, if you like, more realistic, you might say. At this point in history, Krua in Kong was applying Western theories of perspective for the murals at Wat Bhawan. So you had license to be more realistic, and I think that's beautiful myself. So here we go. Here's another manuscript that was bought by friends of mine, Debbie and John Howard, and you can see it's just a list of names, and the list of names is important, as we'll see. You can see the letter Thai Korm letters. Yeah, not Thai letters, but again, this is probably the height, the acme of the art of the Thai manuscript. Pretty late, but nice. Okay. And then we have some more new information. So in 2005, this little outbuilding in Wat Po was renovated, and its contents were catalogued. Okay, and before then, but even so, even after they'd done that, they didn't really shout about it. It took some detective work, track it down. When I was writing my first book, and it was like, well, if you take the genre of the poem is Damra, which is like a treatise or a textbook, and all the Damra and treatises had inscriptions at Wat Po. So whether it was about Thai massage or Thai boxing, famous things, and I was looking for cats, and here they were. Here they are, the cat inscriptions that I had hypothesized. Here they were. They were put here, and by whom? So. A bit of close up there. So you can see that there are actual inscriptions. They are a bit truncated. So here, Damnak Wa Sukri Somdet Prat Maha Samana Jao Grom Prat Baramanuchit Chinorot. I don't know. Put your hands up if you've heard of him. Okay, somebody's heard of him. Wasukri is his name before he became a monk. He was a prince, great world poet. Let's see a look at that. He's got his own Wikipedia page, so no excuse for not knowing there. A statue of him. He was a monk most of his life. He ended his career as a Sankarat in the reign of King Rama IV. But in the reign of King Rama III, this is the important part. King Rama III, who was his nephew, called him to write, translate, compile books. So the Prince Abbot was a prolific poet, composed many religious sacred verses. Many of these verses were made into inscriptions, which can be found all over Wat Po today, making the temple a place of worship and a place of learning. There you go. Thank you, Wikipedia. So we found our inscriptions. And here we have some, just last year, it was at the Sirinton Anthropology Centre, who kind of wrote up a really nice study. That was good for me. We can see exactly what the inscriptions were. Look at the actual, So that, here we go. At first sight, the inscriptions are somewhat truncated, not the complete poems, but the smoking gun connecting to the later editions of the poem are the number and the names. And in my mind, this is proof that the author of the Klongsi is Baramanuchit. It's caught him in the bathroom with the lead piping. There he is. If it wasn't him, personally, it was the school of Wat Po. Yeah. That, if I just go back here slightly, ding dong. I have to say, I am apologetic to the dog lovers and dove lovers whose pets didn't make the cut into inscriptions. I mean, maybe there are dog inscriptions or dove inscriptions somewhere else, not in here. Mostly elephants, the Chudanta Jataka, in which the future Buddha is reborn as an elephant. Horses and buffaloes, but nice that they managed to fit the cats in right at the end. And so here we look at the this is the complete inscriptions. Obviously most of the cats don't actually have the inscription. The yellow just shows you where the name in the inscription matches the name of the Klongsi Supat. Again, that's the proof for me. It just seems very obvious. So again, it's just sort of bringing all this stuff together. We have inscriptions. We have these Ayutthaya period manuscripts. it's all very clear that if there was a cat manuscript in Ayutthaya, because otherwise they wouldn't have made these inscriptions. You know, the whole thing about Wat Po is that it was this ark of Thai culture. They saved all this stuff, you know, and just in case they got invaded again, all this knowledge about Thai boxing and Thai massage and all the other good Thai things would be destroyed. They made these, in Rama III reign, made these inscriptions, you know, and here we go. So just for your information, if you want to go and see either of these places, if you go to Wat Po, you know, the inscriptions, they're in the Sankawat, they're not in the Puttawat. You kind of have to ask nicely, you know, so you can have a look. They might say they'd probably be okay. And then the museum at Wat Po, you can go there on Sunday. It's open at weekends, you know, and it is, you can see, compared to what I was talking about at the National Library, that really is the monkhood which really gives us all the information here about the history of the cat manuscripts, whether it's Wat Po, Wat Po, or all the other temples we were talking about. So here again, if you do go to the touristy part of Wat Po, you can find cats. They're there actually in the actual reclining Buddha chapel itself. You know, they were put in there on the mural. And then these two guys on the bottom left-hand side, they're in another mural in another little building. It's undergoing restoration, this bit, so I couldn't get a better photo, unfortunately. But I think it's gorgeous, this particular mural. It's like, as I say here, the monks may regard the cat as an animal to teach dharma, or just be the object of superstition, you know, they're lucky. But the cat is also ingrained, for lay people, Thai lay people, the cat is ingrained as a symbol of hearth and home. So much so that when after a coronation and the Piti Kun Parachamontien, as they call it in Thai, the sort of palace housewarming event, they have a cat there for that reason. That is the symbolism of it. You know, just like particularly that little chap there on the left hand, he's got a little fishing rod. You know, that he's obviously just going to go and be playing with the cats with that, and I thought that was a bit cute. Yeah, and hearth and home, lovely. I say the Mesu, okay, and it's Thai mythology. You can see other bits and pieces there, but you got the general. Again, this is hopefully when they have restored it, that when you just go to the ordinary tourist part of Wat Po, you can find this mural if you look carefully. Okay, bonk. And then we're looking at other manuscripts which have come to light. So here we have this one is at the Prince Siriton Anthropological Centre. It's an old one. The text is canonical. It's just the Gapcha Bang Sipok, not the Klong. So it's pretty old. And this one this is supposed to be a Supalak, I think. It's a bit confusing. That you look at the quality of the art and it isn't that fine. However, it is the pictures done in most usually a Samut Thai is either Samut Thai cow or Samut Thai dam. It's either black or white. This is a black one, and if you have a black one and you have this particular cat, the same Sawet, I'd just like to mention that I did. You know, a friend who was a breeder, who I took these photos myself of his cat. That it's a very rare pattern. I have seen it, you know, once every now and again. Some cat show somebody has one of these. It's extremely rare, but it exists, right? You know, there's a photo. You know, and to my mind, it's a pointed cat because you know you look at the face and the paws. It's pointed. But yeah, why? Because Kunari, I mean, he tried everything, every which way to reproduce his pattern, failed. And my assumption is that, you know, the impossible odds of a breeding pair with the same spontaneous mutation in each, you know, so that's why Sam Sawet is so rare. Maybe it was more common in the past, we've got no idea. hard to tell. This is another old manuscript that I saw in Pimai. It looks nice. Again, pretty old one. It's the Gapchabang, probably a bit more recent than the other one. This, again, we talk about the exhibition at Wat Bawan. That ongoing, it's open to the public at weekends. But I just like this particular copy of the Damram Meal. It's like a modern artist, a modern Thai artist, using the materials and media of their ancestors to make something that is a living, breathing tradition. So, yeah, if you are a Thai artist and you can, get hold of some Gadat Koi and you've got the right kind of inks and so on, and you can make a Samut Thai, and it's if I was looking at buying one, that one of these would be my preference, so to speak, a modern one that the artist. Okay, all right then. So we've got a few other manuscripts to look at around the world quickly, and then we're off the manuscripts. They've been discovered around. It's like again, just new data, in the sense that libraries around the world have digitized their collections, so we're able to see them. This is one in the Australian National Library. Here we go. As I say, with each of these, I have a kind of a problem, and the problem with this one is blue ink. Yeah, it's obviously ink brought in, imported ink from some European merchant, not the old ink they use with the Samut Thai. And then here, this one's in the British Library, and I just juxtaposed these two pages. They just made me cock my eyebrow. I won't say any more. Yeah, they look like the top cat in each of these looks kind of similar. Yeah, I don't know. And then here, this one, because they use this, the Gap Yani text. This is a text that I discovered in the National Library, and it was a one-off. There was only that one, and it had a clear author, a secular author, and then this one got copied. And it's like, okay, all right, that's nice, and they're copying it, but it's like, this is what the original one looked like. So what we can assume is then that this is a rather recent copy, because if it was a contemporary copy, it would look like this, right? It would be copied exactly, yeah? So never mind. Moving on to this one is actually in my book, because at the Berlin Museum for Indische Kunst, they have the best of the foreign ones. That it is an old one. It's a genuinely old one. It's again going with the Gapchabang with the traditional text. Okay, that's enough of manuscripts. Everybody's yawning here, but basically, yeah. With all this done, it's like my personal journey was complete, if you like. We've got the link from Ayutthaya to Bangkok. We have these two very clear, very prominent, informative pieces of evidence, and then being able to follow links from pre-modern to modern, and through the 20th century to the present day. We have an unbroken chain of cat poems and cat rearing. So here we go. And from the academic side, maybe there's more to discover in the deeper past. I'm not exactly sure how we would go about looking. When did the Thais of Ayutthaya start writing about their cats? Probably, looking here, the picture on the left, the reign of King Narai, late 17th century, was quite likely. It was a period of great we haven't really talked about Korat cats. I'm sorry to any Korat cat fans in the audience, but my friend Kunjujai, who I'll mention a bit later, he thought they came from Angkor. He was from Pimai, where they have the Khmer temple. And, you know, I thought about that for 3 seconds, and I thought, well, yeah, you know, because population genetics work over, you know, long periods of time, you know, millennia, you know, that mutations. So it would make absolute sense for the blue cat, the Korat cat, to have its origin in the Khmer period of history. So, you know, again, for maybe some other scholar. Okay, so what I did become interested in the science of Thai cat genetics, yeah. So, you know, there's a Thai cat race. It's short-haired. It's of medium proportions. Doesn't have extreme nose, what have you. The genes for points are endemic in a huge feral population, and we did actually work this out. That the feral population of cats, there's about 1 million. There's a very strong prohibition in the Thai culture for killing a cat, to put them down, even if your cat's not well. That in a Western country you might have them put down. You're more likely to the vet will try and save their life. We'll look at this a bit later on. But okay. The dense urban settlement of earlier Ayutthaya and Bangkok had some cat-friendly conditions. We'll look at those in a bit. And even today, around the old city, alleyways with markets in which cats thrive. You know, they're safe from predators. The humans feed them, you know, make treats for them, and they serve those communities with pest control. They're hunting rats and roaches, so you all like cats, I hope, because you're here. You know, you can do worse than share your home with a cat. Can I just have a show of hands? Who's got a cat? All right. No, some people catless still. A few catless people. So, you know, this is where you can get cats in Thailand. I'm going to talk about all the different places you can get them. You know, you can get them for free from temples. You can get them for free, you know, off the street. As I say, there are millions of them. Or you can buy them, and you can buy them from a cattery. You can you know, from a cat show, or your neighbourhood cats, and I'll explain what they are in a second. So let's talk a bit about show cats. This was a kind of a nice period of the Thai show cat scene when they put out these lovely displays. You know, it's like a big deal. This chap here, in the middle at the bottom, that is Kumbricha. I'm going to recommend him to anybody. Some people might know him already. He has a cattery in Bang Rak. That's him. Go to www.mailthai.com. Yeah. So you know, he's a good breeder. He'll give you a pedigree. He'll if you're taking the cat back to a foreign country, he'll help you with the export bureaucracy, this sort of thing. You know, it's got registration if that stuff's important to you with foreign cat fancies. Okay, so that's show cats. They can be quite expensive though. I mean, maybe a kitten like that would set you back about 5,000. You know, they're good quality. You know, and especially we're talking about the tail. That you know, that's one of the things that's very hard to get out of a feral cat is the kink tail. You want a straight tail. The cat, the Damra is very clear that kink tails are bad and straight tails are good. Yeah. So moving on. So temple cats. So yeah, after Luang Pu passed away, and I got 2 of his cats. There we go, Garawik. My wife gave him that name because of his voice. He sounded like the bird, it did. The Garawik is a kind of a bird. I'm not quite sure which what you call that in Western language, a Garawik. But anyway, he was quite the character. He's brought up in a temple. He had better manners than the average alley cat. Yeah. He would come for a food. You could pet him, but he didn't really like petting. He would wander. He liked to get out and about. He was, that's the thing about the alley cat we'll talk about. And why I got the picture of the python, because that poor little chap on the top right was actually killed by a python. We were able to stop him being eaten by the python and sort of get rid of him, dispose of his remains. But it was a massive python. It was about 15 foot long. I've seen these things on YouTube, cats beat snakes. No, not if they're a 15-foot python. Right, moving on. Here we have some random alley cats. Okay. And, all right, I've got something else to give away. Okay. Which would be the cat to take home here? Who's got an idea?
The white one.
The white one. Why the white one? Huh?
Bottom right, black and white.
The bottom right, black and white. Yeah. All right. Hang on. Oh, yeah. I think both of those win a badge. We'll put those out later. But it's obviously, it's common sense really, isn't it? The kittens. Yeah. So because obviously you have cats, you know that if you should be getting cats from when they're kittens. Yeah. Here we go. Right, just look at the bottom here. Trapping an adult cat isn't recommended. It's most likely they will continue in their alley cat habits. We did that. We did get have a cat that was, very feral. So feral it was kind of a bit frightening almost. Yeah. But also, just two little points here. Don't worry about Siamese cats going extinct. The Siamese point gene is endemic in the gene pool. It's widespread in the feral population. There are millions of them. There's nothing to worry about there. Because the taboo on killing cats. So, and also, that these, people who do. I think it is a good job to sterilise cats, control cat populations, but the numbers just tell you it's futile. There's no point, You're never going to sterilise all 1 million of them. So there you go. Moving on. Here we go. Again, who's your favourite cat here? Which one would you steal, take home with you? Yeah. Yeah, the middle one. I don't know. I thought he was dead slippery, that one. he would just run away the moment you got close to him. I'd say the top right one, yeah? Because it's a kitten. It's going to imprint on you. If it doesn't really know about living in an alley, it's going to be the cat that you might want to own. It's going to grow into a house cat. Yeah. So... Right. Did anybody here get their cat from a shelter? Right. All right. We've got some. So we're looking at the shelter cats here. I want to talk about this shelter a little bit. It's another temple. We've been talking about temples and various different temples, but this temple is, what we would call a shelter. And I found him very inspiring. This guy, Pratmahajo. Because he's made it his life work to look after cats who have been mistreated by humans, sometimes brutally. And the vets, they're happy to work for him pro bono. They won't charge him for operations and stuff, but he needs drugs and stuff. Yeah, if you feel like donating to a shelter. That's me presenting the proceeds of selling a calendar. There were some people in England who made this calendar, and they were looking for a cat shelter to donate it to, and there it was. I was given this by Kunpanarat. So this is where the temple is. If you want to go there, want to pick up a shelter cat, you're absolutely encouraged. And I'll explain why these are really good shelter cats in a second. Can you read this map? Near Don Mueang Airport, basically. If you can see where Don Mueang Airport is on this map, it's just that grey bit on the bottom right-hand corner, then where that arrow is pointing to, Wat Na Wong, that's where the shelter is. Okay, it's not too far. It's about 10 minutes drive from Don Mueang Airport. Now, here are the cats themselves, and this is the part that really struck me very powerfully. That these cats were very tame, really friendly, lovely cats. Would recommend, there was just one of them that was quite recently still just getting over the operation, that was kind of bad-tempered. But all of the others were really friendly, came up to you, wanted strokes, wanted you to take them home. And I was, that it was, again, from the monk, who about this, whatever he's doing to these cats, that he was curing their temperament as well as their physical injuries, which I thought was brilliant. Yeah. So this guy here, Stefan, pity he's not here tonight, but yeah. So recommended. That's one shelter. There may be others like this elsewhere. This is just one I know about, and it's ongoing. It's there if you want to get a cat from a shelter. And then here we go. Finally, we're getting to the end. We're close to the end. We're talking about neighbourhood cats. So yeah, if you're not fussy about what the cats look like, your local shops, your local shohui, your local barber, your local, in my case it was my electrical repair guy. Yeah, so these are house cats. And you think they're not feral. They've always been house cats, if you like. They pass down from house to house. And here we go. It's possible, just keep your eye out. You see, oh right, you've got a litter of cats, huh? Oh, the kittens for sale. Yeah, okay. It's not rude to ask. Cats for sale. And I got these two, 100 baht each, bargain, right? Yeah, from my electrical repair guy. And I've had them neutered. It's it's all common sense that you guys should know all this. That if you take a cat, certainly from a temple or off the alleyway, that you should have a vet to check them out and get them inoculated, get them vaccinated, especially ringworm, which is very common among the feral cats. And as I say, but these were house cats anyway, and I just, as I say, had them neutered and, vaccinated and everything. So, and they're fine. The tails are very good. They're not quite Siameses, but yeah, here we go. On the chart, they're called Lynx Point. You can see that, blue eyes. You can see the blue colour, so there's some Korat there in the mix there. So it's a Siamese and a Korat and a Tabby mixed together. I don't know. I mean, they might not be in the book, but, I think they're beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Changed my mind. So I called them Bubble and Squeak because the one on the left, the one on the right, sorry, that's Squeak. The one on the left is Bubble. Squeak is very, very slightly darker than Bubble. They're litter mates, and so genetically speaking, they'd be fraternal twins. Yeah. And Squeak is named after the fact that she squeaks. It's really simple. When she does a mew, it comes out like, that sometimes she can't get a mew out, so I called her Squeak, and then I called the other one Bubble. And how that happened, the one tumbled out of the shop and said, I'll have that, and then Bubble came out afterwards, and oh well, I'll have both of them. And we'll see. It's worth having 2 cats. Here we go. They play with each other, especially when they're younger. They're very close. Yeah. Here we go. Asleep. Well, that did freak out the cat to see an actual model of a cat there. That was quite funny. And then here, my advice to anybody: if you're going to get 1 cat, get 2. Why? Yeah, because they groom each other, as you can see here. And I've got that MC Escher picture of one hand drawing the other hand. They're grooming each other like this, and they keep each other company when you're away. So there you go. If you're not going to get 1 cat, get 1, get 2, and then finally, having these lucky cats. Are they actually lucky? I don't know. I think you're just lucky to have them. I'm not expecting to make tons of money or anything. So and here we go. We're giving some things away already. There you go. Oh no, sorry about this. Mr. at the controls, can we start that video?
How long is it?
I don't really want to show all of it actually. I just want to kind of run through it and just see bits of it. It's about 10 minutes long. It's a bit too long, right?
Well, I think we should draw a line there, because it'd be nice for people to actually ask you some questions.
Well, that's all right. You can watch this on YouTube. It's the Cats 101 segment I did with John Neely, and it was kind of fun, especially the rain ceremony part right at the end. It's just kind of the end part, really. I wanted to show.
That's on YouTube.
Yeah, and also I just put it here because I wanted to remember these famous Thai cat personalities who passed away. So there was Gamnam Preacher, who had his Thai cat centre in Ampawah. Unfortunately, that seems to have kind of gone for a Burton since he passed away. And Kun Jujai, in the Isan pronunciation. Chuchai, we say it Jindawat, who was like this big deal in breeding Korat cats. That's his hand there, stroking the Korat cat. And thanks to Somgiat and Wendy and other people who are in the film who helped make it. Okay, so yeah, we don't really have to show it now if it's too awkward. And we just move on to the Q&A.
Sure.
That is the end of the actual presentation. But I just want to do the little quiz now. Give some of this stuff away. I've prepared some questions.
That at the end. Okay,
oh, right.
All
right, Q&A. Anybody got some questions? Who's got questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you use the microphone in the middle?
Yeah.
I could use this. I think my question is quite a simple one, which is, so in the cat poem, it's like 17, there are 17.
Yeah.
There are 17, doesn't seem any different. There are 17 good cats and 6 bad cats.
Yes.
So I'd like to know a little bit more about the bad cats.
Yeah.
Bad. I mean, I saw one was like white with red eyes, and I've never seen.
Yeah.
I've never seen a cat that's white with red eyes or any
I have.
So how are they bad, and how are they defined?
Yeah. Well. I mean, we can actually. Probably the best way to illustrate that, if I'm going backwards, is all 6 of these bad cats are in the inscriptions in Wat Po. Yeah. So if we just go back to those for a second, and you got some kind of common things like what you call the twisted tail, the kinked tail. That's bad. Yeah, white eyes. That's bad. Stillbirth, and yeah, sorry, a bit too much information. Yeah, eats its own kittens. You know, that's what the book says. The cat is the common tabby. You know, it's got tiger stripes. It's not one of the rare ones. There you go. You can see that white cat with red eyes.
Bad as in undesirable, as opposed to like bad as in evil.
Yeah, they're going to bring you bad luck, mate. If you bring one in, and you know you're going to get fired, and your house will be struck by lightning. Yeah.
So can I?
No, I'm going to agree. I was just joking.
Yeah, but you've actually said remarkably little about the personality of Siamese cats, you know, in the way that we relate to them. And I personally find them rather needy. And quite,
they chat,
but quite neurotic as well. Whereas,
they are.
Whereas Persian cats are as wild as everything. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Well, my reference for that would be I was talking about the kind of traditional urban place where they evolved from. So they're just kind of, you know, if you go to Yawarat or Pratnakhon, you know, around Banglampu, you're going to find a lot of these old alleys still there, and they're still full of cats, you know, and to survive, you know, they've got to make friends with humans. That's why they get needy, and that's why they're asking you for food. They're talking to you. And from my research, as far as I understand, when a cat is mewing, that whole mewing behaviour, cats don't mew a lot at each other. They don't. It's a very specific cat behaviour to communicate with humans. Yeah, it's their version of talking, and you know, that's, I would say that. It's also like a tame temperament. So the same reason why Siamese cats are popular crossbreeding with other wilder breeds to make them tamer and more suitable to be pets. And my belief is that evolved, that neediness. I think that's a great. That really sums it up in my mind. Neediness. I should have thought of that. But yeah, that's why they evolved in these alleys, and they had to become friends with these humans who would feed them and protect them.
Okay, the microphone's been hijacked. So
Okay.
So building on that, really, these poems, are they specific poems about specific cat, its characteristics, or are they general to that, you know, yellow cat with blue eyes or whatever?
Yeah.
So they're a specific poem about a specific cat, are they?
Yeah. So the specific markings, the specific coat colour, eye colour.
Right. So it's not like if you go and hunt out a cat with those colours, you get those characteristics. Is that what you're saying? That you go into detail. The actual poem. It's the opposite of the bad cats. You know, you're going to be promoted. You're going to win the lottery. Whatever. And I think you mentioned they typically chant these or sing these.
Yeah.
Right? So they're used for meditation or what?
It's sort of interesting to wonder when or where cat poems might have been actually recited. I mean, maybe they were or weren't. I've never heard them be recited. But I was talking in general about Thai poetry, that each meter has its own kind of melody, you might say, and that you would perhaps if you were reading them out loud, you would be singing them back in the day. Yeah. That's from I mean, especially when I think of the sort of classic version, that you have this sort of sparse, the clong, you know, you go da 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 da, like it's more like a haiku, and then the kind of more prose-like long one that would have a sort of would have a different melody, and that
I didn't bring it with me. The thing is about Baramanu Chitchinarot was that he was one of my set texts at university. It's a huge poem about the Battle of Nong Sarai called Lilit Deleng Pai, and that's how it's built. So you've got this sort of prosy bits and then haiku type bits and then more prosy bits like that. That's how and that's another reason, another bit of evidence, you might say, that he was the author, in my mind.
Questions?
Yeah.
You've Thailand, or what we call Thailand now,
Yeah.
has given the world white elephants,
Yeah.
Siamese cats, Burmese
Yeah.
cats. What would you say the influence of Siamese cats is in the global firmament? Where do they sit? I mean, it's probably one of the few breeds that everybody knows about.
Yeah. Well, you can say, well, yeah, it's a natural breed. It evolved with human intervention, you might say, rather than deliberate breeding. It's called a Siamese cat. That is a suitable name for it because that's where they are from here. Yeah. Sometime in the 20th century, a lot of cat breeders were kind of making up names for breeds, like the Burmese or Tonkinese, and that was literally a bunch of Americans putting a pin in the map. Yeah. Whereas Siamese does mean Siamese, So, but I think what we were talking about, personality and chattiness, that was very important. I think that extends to most of the Thai cats, really. The Siamese, yes, but in general, these general traits we're looking at: a coat color that's lighter than black, because it's so hot here. But people would have liked these patterns, that it was a human. They evolved to be this way because they were living with humans, basically. That's what the evidence seems to tell me. But yeah, worldwide, I mean, the Siamese cat became very popular in the 19th century, and ever since, it's kind of gone in its own way. Some of the modern Siamese, as I say, they might have had forebears back in Thailand, but they've been bred to extreme, and I think you find that in all breeding communities, like in dogs, like bulldogs with very flat faces, so flat they can't breathe anymore, this sort of thing. Yeah. But yeah, I would, for anybody watching, that Siamese cats are well worthy of being a pet. They're going to be tame and conversational and look beautiful.
Yeah. Can you use the microphone?
Thank you. What is the life expectancy of a Wichi and Mat?
I think it's you look after it. It should be, from my experience, a well looked after cat living well into its late teens, or I wouldn't think that they would have a shorter life than any other kind of cat. However, probably if they are actually feral, then their lives will be shorter. That's obvious. Yeah, because it's just so tough out there.
I was rather pleased to see that you mentioned Kamnan Pricha in Ampawa.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't realize he had passed away.
Yeah.
But that's where I got my Siamese cat from in 2012.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he had a big operation. He had hundreds of cats back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah. And whatever. It was a kind of stop that on the tourist trail. The Chinese sort of bus tours in Ampua gone to the floating market, and they'll be taken to this cat centre, and this sort of thing. But I actually, he was the ambassador. He had cat poems, and Thai cats are from Thailand, and we should be proud of them. You know, I think he did a great job in that regard. And yeah, and it's sad. I'm glad somebody else can remember him in that way. Yeah.
Before we get to your quiz, or whatever you're going to get up to, one last question. You say you cannot trace Siamese cats beyond to before Ayutthaya.
Yeah.
Ayutthaya was a huge trading operation.
Yeah.
As you know, Portuguese, Dutch, Japanese, everything. Is it conceivable that the Siamese cat emerged from the interbreeding of cats that arrived on boats in Ayutthaya?
It's an interesting question.
Yeah,
that's an interesting question. Well, I mean, I've always regarded the certainly the points, you know, is being a, you know, like a local mutation, because I mean they do show up in other places in the world, but you know, for good reason that Thailand's famous for them. But you know, I mean, here's a for instance, you know, that I know for a fact that the UTR period had a lot of trade with Persia, you know. And you know, why not the Persian? Why not the long-haired Persian cat here in Thailand? But no, you know, I mean, Persian cats are popular today with some breeders, but they're not really suited for this climate at all. Their hair is too long, you know. They're too hot, and you know, in general, when you're looking at the feral cats, they're all short-haired. The long-haired cats you do see, they're all recent imports, or you know, just as cats will do, get together without your consent and produce baby cats. Yeah.
Right. If there are no more questions, let's have the final quiz.
All right. Okay. I want to know which famous pop star, right, had eyes of two different colours. All right, there you go. You've won that one.
It's all yours.
All right. Okay. I've got some questions here. All right. Here we go. Okay. Now I want to for this one. I've got two questions, and the wife of which Thai Prime Minister who sponsored the first printing of the Thai cat poems? Okay, what's the answer? Samak, no. No, he was a famous cat owner. Samak Centroid, no, we're going way back. Going much back further than that. Much further. Think late 50s. Huh? Yeah, Sarit Tanarat. Yeah, no.
Is it Pibun's one?
It is Pibun. You win. Yeah. Okay. All right. You don't want it. Okay. Well, somebody else can have it. Right. Okay. And for the second one of these, okay, what kind of cat is in the poster? A Korat. Who said that? All right. Okay. Well, you've won the other one. Righty. Okay. And okay. Right. So we've gotten rid of all the big prizes now. We've only got little ones left.
The big ones,
yeah. we got these kind of things. Yeah, we got these. So here we are. Here I have one of the miniature samutai from the funeral, Lumpu's funeral, and the question is, which famous Prime Minister of India had a Siamese cat? Nehru, no.
Yes, yes, Indira Gandhi. Yes, that's right. You win. Yeah. Right, yeah. Okay. All right then. So this one, something, a few things about the Thai cat biology. Why do cats have whiskers?
So I can gauge distance.
Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah, I mean, that's the right answer. But I'll give another one. For another, I'll give another one for another answer. Okay, the width is one answer. One more answer. One more. Yeah.
It's their GPS.
Yeah, that'll do. You can have one there. Yeah, one more. All right. It's because they've got very bad vision close up. It's because cats are famous for having very high quality vision, but if you put something just a few inches in front of them, they can't see it. Yeah, they can't focus on it. Yeah. So anyway, all right then. Are we running out? Okay. So yeah. Let me see. So, how does a cat sharpen its claws? On your furniture. All right, that'll do. That's a good answer. No. But I want another answer.
Distribute some of these.
One more answer. How does the cat sharpen its claws? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll make it easy for you. Does a cat sharpen its claw as like a box cutter knife, or like with a whetstone? A box cutter. Yeah. That's again, there's a thing about cat biology that it's like a box cutter knife. That's why cats are able to sharpen their claws on things like furniture. Yeah, you'd think they'd sharpen their claws on a hard bit of stone to make them sharp, but no, they break off the blunt old nail, and a new one, nice sharp new one, is ready to take its place. Okay. Well, okay. All right. Well, that'll do for now. I mean, who won? Yeah. Okay. I'll hang on to this lot for now. So I don't know, because whoever won a badge, you can choose. These red ones are quite nice. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for coming here tonight and listening to me. And hopefully we know a bit more about cats than we did before.
Right, thanks very much, Martin. A remarkable presentation.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice that the FCCT does these occasionally, just non-mainstream programs, because there's a lot of interesting things that go on here that aren't political. How many of these have you got?
How many of these? Well, I've only got that one left.
Okay, so
but if anybody wants to buy one, I can take your order. I can get it to you.
okay, so
Yeah.
there's one copy here now, if you want it, and others
Right.
are available. Good, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I'll just leave those there for people to help themselves. There you go.
Have
given everything to the...
Yeah.